Alrighty. Hi, everyone. Welcome again to AuthorStory. I'm Alexander Lim, your host, and for this episode, I'm interviewing Lynn Jackson, author of the Merman book, Aiden, Prince of the Sea. And you can go to the Amazon link in the video description below and check out Lynn's book. So, Lynn, welcome back. It's great to have you as our guest once again on AuthorStory.
Thank you, Alex. It's so nice to be back here with you again.
Cool. So, for the benefit of our new listeners, this isn't the first time Lynn has guested an author story. She was with us in the middle of November last year, 2015, where she talked about the first two books in her House Door Stand Vampire series. So, Lynn, how are you doing? What's been up with you since last you were here?
Oh, I've been doing good. Actually, I'm going through a couple of other books that I've already written, just kind of checking on them and seeing if there's anything new I want to add or change and stuff. And I've come up with a new Christmas story that I want to write when I get
Okay.
done. I've never written a Christmas story before, so I thought, this would be the best time to get it going.
Oh yeah. So, do you think it's going to be out by Christmas time?
Oh yeah, I'll have it ready by Christmas time.
All right.
It's
Well,
gonna be kind of different, but a book for all ages and just
right.
a lot of fun and adorable things in it.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Well, I mean, hey, you've got what, 9 more months before the season's on,
Right, right.
right?
Usually, if I write a story that's gonna be like for Halloween or Christmas or something like that, I like to try to get it done at least 2 or 3 months ahead of time. That
Mm,
way, it gets time to get out there and get it going.
right, right. True. Very much. Very true. Very true. So,
Mm-hmm.
so then, can you tell us about something about Aiden? But yeah, I know it's about a merman, but for the benefit of our listeners, what's it all about?
Right. Well, because I've always loved, anything that had to do with the sea and going to the beach and stuff. And, you know, I, I've always had a child's heart. And just like a lot of people, I've always thought, mermaids are pretty cool and
Okay.
interesting and beautiful. And I wanted to write a mermaid story, but I was thinking, I like to be different. So I decided to write a merman story instead of
Hmm.
a mermaid.
Right.
And so that's how I came up with Aiden's story. Aiden's actually a prince of the sea. So,
Hmm.
he lives in his own kind of like kingdom under the sea with his mother and father and,
Right.
and a family of mermaids. And the other main character in the story is a young girl named Deena who's always had an infatuation and a love for mermaids. And
Okay.
so the story, is pretty much where she does meet Aiden and they bond together and he teaches her a lot of things and she teaches him about some of the things in her world and um, through his encouragement she actually becomes a more popular girl in school because he brings her out from being shy and kind of being secluded from everybody.
Right.
So it's really got a lot of drama, action, and love in the story. And
All right.
I think Mark, my husband, who's here, he also likes that. I also, what is it I put in the story that you liked on it?
Oh yeah. She told me originally that she wanted to kind of write this as a metaphor for how we as a species interact with our environment, and and show the good and the bad
Hmm.
that humans do with animals and the environment in general.
All right. Okay. Cool. So it's got it's the intention there's somewhat deeper than just your typical
Right,
romantic love story, and it's got like environmental impact in it as well.
right, right.
All right. Cool. So for our listeners, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mark, who is Lynn's husband, and who also helps her out with the books, with her books.
Right.
All right. Cool. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just saying hello, everyone.
All right. Okay. Well, hello, Mark. All right, cool. So, Lynn, the book's female lead character is a 16-year-old girl. Is your book really aimed specifically at that particular age group? that
Uh,
particular audience, or does it include older readers as well?
oh, I think it could go from 12 years old up to adults.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story that, it's kind of like a family story. There's
Mm.
not anything like how I've written in my vampire stories, there's no blood and guts.
All right. All right. True. True. Okay. Okay.
But there's no violence or bad language and stuff like that in it. I tried to keep it so that it can be enjoyed by many.
Okay. All right. Cool. So what would the what do you think the older the older readers might take away from this? What's the part do you think that they kind of like enjoy?
I think it would open a child's heart in anybody. I think it
Mm.
would make them feel good, make them just want to go out the beach and just sit there and stare out the ocean and wonder if there really is an Aiden out there.
Mm. Okay. Cool. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So the last time you were here, actually you mentioned this, but like the last time you were in Author Story, we were talking about two books of yours, the first two books in the House of the Stanton Vampire series. Uh,
Right.
right. So Aiden, merman, fantasy elements involved, and I'm just a little curious because as you mentioned, vampires are dark and broody and bloody and angsty and
Right.
mean, and and merfolk aren't, at least not from my understanding about them. So, what inspired you to go with a merman character for your book?
Well, actually, the first stories I ever started writing were children's stories.
Okay.
So I'm able to write. I can go just as dark as can be, or I can write stories that are filled with fairies and love and all kinds of stuff. So I really have a wide variety of my stories that I can get into, and neither one influences the other. So like
Okay.
when I write my vampire stories or any of my horror stories, you won't see a fairy in there,
Okay.
or if I
Okay.
get
Okay.
involved with something for young adult, I know how to keep it low so that it's not turning into something that would be scary for them.
Hmm. All right. Okay. Well, definitely. I mean, different audiences have different likes and different desires.
Right, right. I've got another story out there that's for, the same like Aiden. It's for ages, I would say, from 12 to adult. It's called Butterfly Summer,
Hmm.
and it's got fairies in it and a witch and a troll and stuff like that. But it's right there on the same level as Aiden, to where it can be enjoyed by many, and it's actually got comedy in it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, definitely comedy is different from blood and angst and darkness and
Right,
vampire. Okay. All right. Cool.
right.
Fantastic. Okay, so Lynn, let's talk a little bit about merfolk. I mean, they're well known thanks to, I mean, Hans Christian Andersen, The Little Mermaid, and stuff like that. But what do you think is the mystique behind mermen, mermaids, the merfolk?
Um,
What's their pull? You think?
I think because I don't really want to put it on the Bigfoot level,
Okay, okay,
but
okay.
I think it's just one of these things where some people probably actually believe that there really are mermaids out there, and some
Mm,
people, have their other beliefs that they don't believe they exist. And I
right,
think it's the mystery and the fantasy and the beauty that, you know, ever since I was a little girl, that, the media has created about them, so it makes you want to buy statues of them, posters of them,
right,
and probably even search for them.
right. Cool. Okay, got that. So I mean, so let about the mermaids, about the merfolk, the mermen. Like I'm thinking, like if you wanted to think about what vampires are all about, there's like a real life reference to the source of the stories, like Vlad the Impaler, who's actually the source of Dracula.
Right.
How do you construct a convincing mythology of merfolk as they're presented in your books?
Well, in what I hope I was able to succeed in doing when I wrote the story about Aiden, I made him as real as possible to
Mm-hmm.
where you could actually believe he could exist. And he has his own thoughts and feelings about the world that we live in, which some of it actually angers him with the way people are treating, the ocean by polluting it and the killing of a lot of the whales and dolphins and stuff like that. And,
Right.
I didn't want to make it like your typical mermaid story that you would read where it would have an ending where she would just turn into a mermaid and be with him forever and ever.
Right. Right.
He has his laws of the sea that he has to follow, and that's what he does. So I felt by doing this, it made him seem more real than something that was just made up in her head, or just a fantasy merfish that doesn't even really exist. I made it to where people would wonder, gosh, maybe there really is an Aiden in the sea.
Okay. So in other words, to make this guy seem like he really does exist, you really got into, what motivates him, how the merfolk work, and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right. How he lives, even down to what he eats,
Okay. Okay.
how he survives, the
Mhm.
things that he himself have to battle in the sea,
Mhm.
they have their own enemies in the ocean, as well as like we have our own enemies here on Earth.
All right. Okay. So that seems to be pretty detailed.
Right.
Right. So I think you mentioned last time we talked on House Their Standard, like you've got a whole notebook full of details. Was it the same with
Mm-hmm.
this? Was it the same with making this book?
Oh yeah, just like all my other stories. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. I
Okay.
I I start doing all kinds of research. Of course, with Aiden, I didn't have to do a whole lot on Aiden himself because I knew how I wanted him to be. But
Mm.
like there's surfing and stuff like that in the story, and I know nothing about surfing. So I
All
had to
right.
go and make studies about, surfing lessons, what kind of words are used, what kind of positions when you stand on the board, and
Right.
what those certain types of waves are called. And so I had to do a lot of research to find out, the things I needed to say. Even about the sharks, I had to study which shark is which kind, and which is dangerous, which is
Right.
not. And
Right.
so I did the same with Aiden. He had his research done.
Okay. Cool. Well, I guess that helps with making the character, more real rather than just a
Right.
fairy tale kind of thing.
Right.
Cool, fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the main characters. Deena. Okay, you mentioned that she's shy girl. Not
Yeah.
not one of the more popular ones. Is she based on any single person in particular, or did you base her on just a particular personality type?
I kind of wanted to base her on the type of girl that, because, she wears glasses, she has this childish heart with the mermaids that she's picked on all the time. So I kind of wanted to pull out someone that's usually bullied for the
Hmm.
wrong reasons,
Hmm.
and I made it to where, at first, of course, Dana, she's picked on by a cheerleader who's real popular and stuff. But
Right.
as
Right.
the story, as she meets Aiden and the story continues, Aiden helps bring her out to the person that she really is, which is a really pretty girl that can do just about anything.
Hmm.
So through his help, he helps stop the bullying on her and everything.
Hmm. Okay. All right. I got that. So, okay, cool. So now, what about Aiden? I mean, I got that you did a great deal of research on like how a merman would function and stuff like that. But in terms of personality, did did you flesh him out to make him more real as a person, or is he just like a fantasy merman kind of cutout?
Aiden's got a lot of personality.
All
He's
right, cool,
of
cool.
course he's handsome. He's
All
got
right,
dark hair and stuff. And
okay,
he he's kind of, he can, excuse the word, but he can be a smart ass sometimes.
okay.
I hate
All
saying
right,
that word.
okay.
But yeah, he kind of likes to challenge you, and if you dare make fun of him, you know, or challenge him, he'll put you in your place.
Oh,
But
okay,
he
okay.
also is he's also very playful. Um, he's strong and very protective over things, and he has no fear. Like if he has to go in battle against something, he will go and do it, even if it's going to risk his life.
Hmm. Okay, so it sounds like Aiden's character's then, three-dimensional, fully fleshed out.
Right, right. Yeah, he's really he's a nice merman, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
but he's got his own, you know, he'll stand his ground and he likes to be playful at times, and you know, he also doesn't you know, he doesn't mess around with when it's serious time, it's time to get serious.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Cool. I got that. So then, I really must commend how quickly you can write a book. I mean, how long did it take you to write this? And I understand that,
Um,
as you mentioned before, it's like you're working other books too, right?
right. Aiden, I would say, probably took me 2 or 3 months the most to write.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
what really takes a long time, sometimes I've gotten a book done in about a month,
Hmm.
but what takes long is after I've written it, I go over it probably about 4 or 5 times, and then I
Hmm.
have my husband or my son, you know, friends, my daughter, you know, I get as many as I can that I can trust to go over it also, because sometimes, you know, there will be a word that's written in there twice back to back that I've missed, or
Right.
maybe a misspelling, or, you know, so we just really spell check the best that we can, so that I want the book to be ready as best as it can be.
Hmm. Right. Okay. So I take it the editing part takes longer than the writing part then.
Yeah, sometimes it does, because I also have to work around other people's, you know, work schedule, you know, when they
Ah.
can find the time to go through it for me and stuff. And it's surprising because, you know, I've had some of my books gone over up to 10 times, and the 11th person will still catch something.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it's almost like no matter how many times, you know, we go through it, there will still be something there that needs to be fixed.
Hmm. All right. But eventually, I mean, eventually things do work out.
Right,
I
right.
suppose. Right. Right.
Right. You know, I want, when I present, it's the way I work with anything I do. I always want to give it my best. And I
Hmm.
don't want to put something out there that is not going to be its best for customers or people to read and stuff.
Hmm. All right. Okay. Cool. Got that. So, Lynn. You're primarily a fiction author. Uh, I just want to know, like, would you have any particular, let's say you come across someone who's like wants to write a work of fiction, hasn't done so yet. They're kind of, maybe I should write this, maybe I should not. What might you tell them to, get them started or to get them writing the book that they deserve to have out in the world?
Um, Gosh, so like, to what advice I would give someone who wanted to write a fiction but was having trouble getting started?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I would say just go with the flow of things. You
Hmm.
know, to pick something that you enjoy, like if you enjoy vampires or the mer people,
Okay.
or
Okay.
you know, trolls or fairies. Just start with picking what you favor you know, the most, and you know, just try to create personalities and think of how you'd want that person or, you know, creature to live, where it would live. Then you go thinking about what kind of friends you'd want it to have or enemies you'd want it to have, and
Hmm.
you know, you just build from that and just keep, and it would just keep flowing. You know, it kind of grows on its own. A lot of my
Okay.
stories, you know, I just let them go on their own, and I'm the one following them.
Okay.
I don't,
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
no, it's pretty easy once you get going.
All right. Okay. So you mentioned something about, the stories growing on their own. That may sound like a somewhat vague concept to some of our listeners. Can you just give an example of, how a story just seemed to start and then how it grew on its own?
Well, it's like in some of the stories that I write, like I'll just take a troll for example.
Okay.
Um, I'll write about the troll and how, he's going to look and how his personality is, and then as I'm writing him, I'll go, oh, you know what? It'd be fun to make him go do this or make him do that, or I'm going to make him do something really bad. So
Hmm.
those kind of things will come up. And so then you just think of an idea of what you want him to do that's bad or good, or. Um, of course, in my vampire stories, most of my trolls are evil.
Right,
They'll
right,
steal, they'll, if they have to hurt someone, they will.
right.
But
Okay.
so it's just pretty much like that. You just kind of flow with when you come up that you want them to be bad, then you just think of something bad that you want them to do.
Okay. And everything just kind of rolls along from there.
Right.
Okay, cool, interesting. Okay, so there's a tip right there. So, Lynn, you mentioned that you're working on other things. Definitely, I know you're still working the House of Door Stanton, and you
Right.
mentioned, yeah, you mentioned you're also working a couple of other books. What topics might that be? Are those still like fiction, or those nonfiction?
They're fiction. The one I'm working on right now that's already out there for sale is called Taming the Steel,
Okay,
and I that's another story that I really like that's different. It's kind of a western, but it's like a modern western in the future with steampunk to it, and
okay,
it's got where it's like a time in where there's not any hardly any animals left in the world, and everybody's having to restart all over again, and animals are like really valuable and rare, and because of this, a man in this western town has been able to build robotic horses, and that's
hmm.
what they use to get around with, to pull the wagons with, and stuff like that. But the thing that's really cool about this story is that when the robotic horses are built and brought to life, they're wild and they
Okay,
have to tame them. And this story has a really cool horse race in it with the steel horses, and it's got some outlaws in it that are really bad, and they have to bring a gunslinger into town to kind of put things in order and all this stuff. But that
okay,
story is really, really good.
all right,
And
cool.
the other one is Hauntingly in Love, and that's a ghost story.
Okay, Ghost, right. Well,
Yep.
I must say you have a very varied repertoire right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
steampunk, western, and ghost stories. And okay, cool,
Hmm.
fantastic. So, Lynn, in the closing moments of our interview, is there anything else you'd like to say that might, inspire our listeners?
Um, I would say, just keep reading these stories and stuff because, when you're stressed out during a day from having a hard day, or, you're down about things, not just my books, but, pick up any book and just relax and read and enjoy the story and have fun with it.
Okay, well, definitely good words of advice right there.
Right.
So, Lynn, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for being an author story again. It was great catching up with you.
All
Okay.
right. Well, it was nice talking with you again, and everybody, and I wish you all the best.
All right. Thank you for that. And if you'd like to follow our author interviews on YouTube, hey, just click on the subscribe button. If you'd like, go ahead and buy the book right now by going to the Amazon link in the video description below. So long for now, everyone. I'll be back next time on Author Story with another inspiring author.